the asshole for telling my fiance I'm not even looking forward to our wedding anymore.
That's done.
Right off bat, nigga,
It's
what?
done. There's no coming back from that.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I, male 28, got engaged to my fiance, female 27, about 8 months ago. Before we started planning the wedding, our relationship was honestly great. Ever since planning started, though, it's like she became a completely different person. Every conversation somehow turns into the wedding planning. If we're watching TV, she'll pause it to show me centerpiece ideas. If we're eating dinner, she'll talk about seating charts. If we're out with friends, she's asking for opinions on flowers, invitations, or dresses. I get that weddings are a big deal, but I genuinely feel like I haven't had a normal conversation with my fiance in months. It honestly feels less like I'm dating my fiance and more like I'm working with a project manager whose only topic is about this wedding. The biggest issue has always been one specific venue. She's been obsessed with it from the beginning. I kept telling her that we should have backup options because it looks like it was going to be outside of our budget. She was convinced we would be able to negotiate. Last weekend, we finally met with the owner. Everything seemed to be going well until they gave us the actual price. And it was way higher than what had been advertised because apparently the listed price didn't include a bunch of mandatory fees. We tried negotiating, but the owner wouldn't budge. That's when my fiance completely broke down. She started crying right there in his office, begging them to work with us because she dreamed of being married there for years. The owner looked uncomfortable and still said no. I honestly have never been more embarrassed in my life. The entire drive back, she kept crying about how our wedding was ruined. Eventually, I snapped, and I couldn't take it anymore. I told her I hate the person that she's become since we started planning this wedding. I said every conversation revolves around one day she's been impossible to talk to for months about. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm not even looking forward to the wedding anymore because the planning has been extremely miserable. She didn't say another word for the rest of the ride. Later that night, she told me that I completely crushed her and made her feel like she was handling this all by herself. I apologize for saying what I did. But I also can't pretend those feelings came out of nowhere. So, am I the asshole? What do you guys think, man?
That's tough.
Why is it tough?
Do I agree with him? Absolutely.
Okay.
Do I agree with the approach? No, absolutely not. Because I do think weddings, if not most of the time, if not all, they're not really meant for the man. You know, like
What?
the wedding component of
I have a
it.
good time at my wedding, though.
No, I'm saying most of the time.
There's parts of my wedding that
and
are going to be
I'll
for
tell
me.
you, and you guys agree with me if I'm wrong, because I have a theory. I do think the wedding culture and a lot of the traditions that are associated with wedding, especially in Western world, is because a lot of the movies, the media, growing up, a lot of our young girls are given this is what our dream wedding should look like, you know? Right. And watching all these movies and every rom-com ending with like a wedding scene, there's always this idea of everything should always be Disney-like, you know? So when we grow up and we still have these ideas and these ideologies, the way it translates to real world is not realistic, you know? And for the most part, I feel like you would agree with me. I'm not really sure where you stand on this. I don't, like, when it comes to the wedding, I would like it to be as simple as possible, you know? But I understand because of that I'm marrying somebody, they also probably want to spearhead the project component of it, right? Like, this is what we want to do, this is where we want to go, this is how many people we want to have. And by all means, I'm cool with that. But there comes a time in which I feel like some people take it to the next level, which, in my opinion, is such a turnoff, you know? Like, the wedding should only be the union between you and I. And sometimes people take it to the next level and try to make it something that it's not, you know? Do I agree with him that she took it way out of proportion? Absolutely. I don't think it should ever get to that level, nor should you embarrass us in a situation like this when somebody says no. We're grown adults. We don't need that to happen. But was he wrong for saying what he did, hurting her feelings? Yeah, because I don't think at any point you should make it a common to hurt somebody, especially somebody who you want to be with, you know? Approach was wrong. Idea was correct. Does that make sense?
I don't agree with that.
How so?
But I want to hear Mukhtar's opinion first.
Now I'm aligned with a lot of what he said, and I do agree. When the time comes for me, and I've been to a wedding like this, I would like it to be traditional, where we have what we call nikah, which is the official exchanging hand from father to now husband, and then just everyone have a meal and we enjoy our time on vacation and go try to learn each other in some capacity. But yeah, don't let, as a person that does a customer facing job, you have to keep them composed, and if you're gonna express something, express it in a controlled manner. You can never let yourself go above and beyond it and reach that boiling point where, especially the person that you love, you're coming out with frustration and anger instead of trying to say, how can this person understand my perspective the best? And if you're not thinking that way, then you're not in the manner of maturity that you think. Let the person be geeked out what they want to geeked out about. Everyone has their little thing that they enjoy and get blown over, but you cannot approach it in a negative manner if that's what the one thing they're excited about.
That's a very honest approach about it. I'm not gonna lie. That's a very mature way of looking at it. I appreciate that. My thing, the takeaway I wanted to take away from Rasami's point was that I think it was necessary that she had somebody blow up at her at some point, because she has been, I feel like she's been pushing the buttons of her fiance for a long time, and I feel like he got to a boiling point. And I don't give him much, like, I do understand that a verbal spat between two people that love each other is not a good thing, right? But I feel like the intention being there, and the intention being good itself from the guy's perspective, is what trumps the yelling, the back and forth. Because we've already gotten to a position where one person has acted irrational and out of character in public, right? And that is, I feel like that's the straw that broke the camel's back in this situation, because all throughout their planning of the wedding, the guy couldn't even get a word in with his fiance about like any day-to-day stuff. He's been bothered by this so much that it's been getting to his mind where he's like, okay, this is not the right this is not the same person that I got together with, right? So I think that's in the air already. And I think that this guy is being clouded by stress about the person he's now being involved with, right? Because the way I would look at this scenario, if I was the guy writing the story, I would be questioning whether I knew the person that I proposed to or not. If I see now all of a sudden they start to move like Bridezilla times a million, then I'd be like, okay, how did I not see any signs of this when we were dating? You know, how did I not know this before? Am I an idiot? So I'm gonna be looking at myself more in like, you know, fault than the girl. But at the same time too, I'm also gonna be questioning whether or not this is going to continue in our marriage. You know, if she doesn't get her way, is she going to throw a fit like a toddler? You know, that's a very interesting like revelation in their relationship, and I don't think that should be just like misguided or thrown to the side. I think the guy actually should have a conversation with her family, with the girl's family, and get more context as to why she's acting this way. Like, you know what I mean? If that wasn't truly her when you first started dating, and then get to an understanding with her based off of some a little bit more research that you can do. Because right now she's in a place where she's not herself, she's not acting rationally, and it's clearly caused an issue in a relationship where the public outburst has now caused some sort of embarrassment, is now like a black mark almost on the relationship. So you need to address that. I don't think that him like getting to a boiling point and letting out his frustrations with this girl is necessarily a bad thing. I think that will help her in the long run. But I think that him having a conversation with her later on, and then I felt like he was almost succumbing to her irrational ways, is wrong. I think he needs to nip that in the butt, get assistance from a third person that's related to the fiance, and then go from there. I think it's not the end all be all, but I think she needs the harsh reality. She needs some tough love at this point.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with most of the stuff you said. Like I told you, the approach is what I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason why I disagree with that is because he's human too.
Yeah,
right? He's got to a boiling point. I don't think he just randomly just said, I'm gonna snap on you now. I think he got to a point where he's like, yo, this girl's been acting like this, and she just threw a scene at the venue.
Yeah,
this is crazy. I can't take it anymore. And that's where I'm giving him grace.
But can we agree that just as much that she is at fault for being a little crazy when it comes to her wedding, you know, a lot crazy.
Are you saying they're both at fault?
That's kind of that's what I'm getting at. But let me land. Just as much as she's at fault for being crazy in the situation, can we agree that he has just as much, if not a little less, responsibility for not bringing this up earlier. If I seen red flag 1,
But that's the thing,
red
though.
flag
Like,
2,
we're
red
assuming
flag
he
3.
didn't, right? Because
But,
he's
but
saying
based
the
off
story.
based off the story, I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like. I'm just going off of what I heard. It doesn't sound like he had a good enough conversation where he actually gave the approach of this is not correct.
Yeah, but I feel like-
if he has to get to a boiling point, that means there's a lot of stuff that he kept within that didn't come out because you're keeping everything closed off,
I
right?
disagree.
No,
I
a
inferred
boiling
that-
point is the idea
I
that you
inferred
were.
that the opposite way, though. I
How
inferred that
so?
as if
How
he
so?
tried to have the conversation, it didn't go anywhere, and then was shut down. That can happen too, right?
No, but in this
If somebody is
situation,
acting irrational, who's more likely to shut down the conversation? The person that's often talking about one topic, or the
Okay.
person that is trying to change the topic and get back to normalcy?
but then how is it not the fault of it? If you see that as okay, let me drop it, then that is just as much as you being at fault because you left that
This is
to
somebody who's willing to go to the length of crying in public.
okay. But that's the first
You don't
instance.
think
That's
you
the
don't think
first
you don't
instance
think
that
that
he's
they're
seen
you
that
don't,
though.
you don't think that this person is willing to use their emotions as leverage in a conversation, especially about something that she feels highly about.
But that's I can't say that he
I'm
knew
inferring.
that.
I'm inferring.
Yeah, you see,
I'm
you're
inferring,
doing a
but
lot
the
of that.
same way
No,
you're inferring.
That's
too.
not true.
Yes, you're inferring.
How
too.
so?
You're
How so?
inferring that he didn't have the right conversation and didn't get the full context
Okay.
of what he was thinking. We didn't hear that in the story. We just heard that he tried to have conversations and it wasn't met with the same thing, and then it
Okay.
got to a boiling point. That's all we know. I'm inferring the positive. You're inferring the negative. Can
But
we agree to that?
The way that
Can we
you
agree to that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, tell me-
I don't
tell me
agree with
why.
that. And the reason is because the way that you're assuming that she manipulated her emotions in order to control the outcome of a lot of these conversations, that is jumping. You're jumping.
And what?
No.
What is your point?
What I'm
What is your
saying
point?
is
What is your
my
point?
entire point
Okay, say it.
was I don't know if they're having these conversations. I never at no
He said we
point.
never had one normal conversation.
Can I hear the?
Can I read it back?
Can you reread that part?
Okay,
Because I don't
read it
remember
back.
that part
Let me read it back.
correctly.
Let me read it back. Hold on. I like where this is going.
Go ahead.
Like it's going.
I'm okay to be wrong in a
I'm the
situation.
Knicks. I win championship.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah, nigga.
For once in 53 years.
Yeah. San
I see.
Antonio.
Go ahead.
Okay. He said. Where is the sentence? Every conversation somehow turns into the wedding. If we're watching TV, she'll pause it to show me centerpieces. If we're eating dinner, she's talking about seating charts. If we're out with friends, she's asking for opinions on flowers, invitations, or dresses. I get that weddings are a big deal, but I genuinely feel like I haven't had a normal conversation with her in months.
Thank you for reading that.
Go ahead.
Because what that sounds like to me is I talk about my day, like, hey, how are you doing? How's this going on? And it navigates to the wedding. It doesn't sound like at any point he broke down what was actually wrong, the
Did he
root
say yes
issue.
or did he say explicitly what he was talking about?
But you.
Hold on. Let me ask.
No,
I'm
because
trying to land here too. I'm trying to land here too. Hold on.
I didn't
Hold
land
on.
my point. I didn't
I'm
land my
saying-
point.
Well, hold on.
Go
You're
ahead.
saying that I'm making inferences that aren't in this story. I'm saying
Absolutely.
you are too in the negative context. You're disagreeing, saying I'm not.
I'm not.
So explain to me how you're not.
Because you read that right now.
Okay, should I read it again?
Go ahead.
I get that weddings are a big deal, but I genuinely feel like I haven't had a normal conversation with her in months. What did you get from
How
that?
do you interpret that?
What did you get from that?
Can I ask you that right now? What do you get from that?
I get that he's, like you said, he's trying to talk about his day. He's trying to talk about things that are going on.
Yes.
But it's circling back to the wedding.
Okay.
This person is obsessed with the wedding. I can't get her mind off the wedding.
Yes. But that's not. I like how you're shifting gears right now.
How?
Because talking about the wedding is not talking about the problem of the wedding. He at no point did he say, hey, I actually want to talk about a problem that's happening with the wedding in which I feel like you're too obsessed. What that sounded like to me was, hey, how was your day? How was work? By the way, these are the flowers I'm ordering. And it goes off on that tangent. It doesn't go off the tangent of, I don't agree with what's going on. Can we talk about the root cause of the issue? I feel like you're obsessed.
I feel like you're adding that in. The story. You're
No,
adding that
because
in
the way that the story was
How
written.
can you know what a conversation is going to lead to?
But
How do you know?
But
How do you
based
know?
off
You're
of that
inferring,
conversation,
brother.
no, I'm
Yeah, you
not.
are.
Based off that
A normal
sentence,
conversation could lead to anything,
fam,
brother.
I feel like you're refusing. You're refusing
hold
to
on.
see what the actual sentence meant.
Brother, I'm saying you're inferring the same way I am. You're saying, no, I'm right, you're wrong.
I'm
I'm
sa-
saying we're both making up our own scenarios in our head to
I'm
value,
not.
to support
I'm
our
saying-
opinion. You're saying, no, mine is right,
Absolutely
yours is
not.
wrong.
No,
You see where I find that weird?
I'm not going to let you
see
say
where I
that.
find that
No,
weird?
The difference between me and you is I'm actually verbatim saying what the sentence
you're
is.
adding
I'm
shit in
saying
there.
they're talking
you're
about
adding shit in
normal
there.
stuff, and then it gets
You're
to the
making
wedding.
an inference that
Yeah.
those conversations are not related to anything. So if I'm having a normal conversation with my fiance, you're saying
sure.
that we're not having a real conversation. We're talking about just regular surface level shit.
It sounds like they're talking about
We're never
normal
having a
stuff.
conversation of substance ever.
That's not what he
person
said.
that I'm marrying?
That's not what he said in the story.
But I'm saying you're making the same inferences I am.
Absolutely not. If you can't see that, then you're jumping to conclusions.
Agree to disagree.
You're jumping.
You sound
Like you're
stubborn.
seeing something.
You sound stubborn. Right now.
Stubborn? How?
Because I'm telling you, I'm making examples of my point to support my theory, and you are too.
But
you're
your
saying
theory
no.
is bullshit.
You're saying,
your theory makes no sense.
Can we
whether or not it does, it's my theory. It's my opinion. I'm saying I don't
but
agree with your
you're-
opinion, and it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm saying, give me the supporting factors to base your theory. And
I
you're saying no.
literally-
You're
I
saying
literally did.
everything that I'm saying is in black and white. It's a fact. That's not true.
Absolutely, though.
That's not
Based
true.
based off what the story read,
not true.
I'm just verbatim saying exactly what he said. You're the one who's taking
what we
that
have a comment
sentence.
section for.
You're the one taking
Tell
that
them, not
sentence
me.
and jumping to this is what they actually talked about.
And you're not.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
Agree
saying
to disagree.
exactly what the
Agree to
story
disagree.
says.
Agree to disagree.
Final statements.
Agree to disagree on that.
Anywho, fair enough. Okay. To that point, though, I still think the approach was incorrect. But should he have communicated it at another point? Absolutely, at a place where it was better. And this is in itself a good indication as what the rest of your wedding or marriage will look like. Because if she breaks down in something as simple as a venue, this is what you're seeing moving on for the rest of your life. Imagine having kids. Imagine having a house,
what I said.
mortgages, which I agree with you. I agreed with the concept. My problem was the boiling point that you brought up. That was the only thing I
The only
disagree
difference
with.
is you're not giving the guy grace for that.
Because
you're saying that he
it-
should have talked to her before. You're making it seem
I'm
like he didn't.
absolutely saying that.
Final statement.
I'm absolutely saying that. What is your point? Yeah, I don't think he's the asshole.
Okay. What
I don't think he's the asshole either. I'm just arguing with this guy. I'm just saying.
I don't think he's the asshole. He should have did it differently.
Yeah, he is the asshole for me for that purpose. If someone's excited and if someone has a lot of energy about a particular topic, try to add structure to it. And going forward, this is your opportunity to, hey, I got frustrated over this. Let's add some structure. Let's add some business hours to this. Let's not let this be the only thing we revolve our life around. Because it's going to be one day that introduces how we are the rest of our lives. So he is the asshole for that purpose.
I agree. I think you just need a mediator, to be honest with you. But yeah, talk to your girl, talk to her family, talk to people that are close with her, find out a little bit why she's acting like Bridezilla, and then get to the bottom of it. To be honest with you, and honestly, be like to the person writing the story, be okay with the fact that your wife's crazy. Let's be real. If you love her like that, she might be crazy. Let's be real. It happens. But comments, tell us the comments. What do you guys think? Were we right? We wrong? We need to know. Coffee Break Podcast. See you next time.